Hi everybody, it's December 11th, 2025. Um, there are times during the days that we have free time where it seems as if there is nothing on our mind, but in the background we are quietly trying to make sense of things that caught our attention that day or relatively recently. And so these moments of quietude are isolation, not necessarily toxic isolation, but like periods of solitude. Our minds and our spirits do work to heal and to make sense of what we go through. And sometimes the energy or the conclusions we come to that lead us to a different mood or to different assumptions about life, they feel incomplete when we are disturbed or when we have to stop the moments of solitude to go back into a community setting or a relationship saturated situation. So I found that just because things aren't resolved and the conclusions aren't complete from your downtime, that doesn't mean that you don't know how to act or you don't know how to act upon what you are faced with or what you are going through. Rarely are the answers verbal, meaning literal or conscious. The answers are in the assumption that you are aware of what is the correct thing to do in terms of the complete zeitgeist of your life. So just because you can't, literally come up with a conscious verbal answer to what you should do, what the silence and solitude has imparted upon you is the seed to act accordingly to what you want out of your path and what you want out of your experience. And I know that sounds vague, but even in terms of things being vague, the implications are louder than anything you could literally say in terms of language. And so this gets me to thinking about excess. Have you ever received a windfall of money and it's more than you're usually accustomed to dealing with at one point? And so when you are dumped on with this excess, you freeze for a moment and you do not know what to do, which way to go, how to rain down this monetary blessing upon your life in a responsible or even a satisfactory way. It's this facet of excess that is very telling. When you are given an excess and you are taken aback, what does that mean? What exactly does that denote about your character? And many people are careful with their money and some people aren't. But that hesitation means that you have been accustomed to being okay, to being content with less than you have been granted. And you may be reluctant to let go of that comfort that you had even in relative poverty to what you have now. You have been accustomed to that lifestyle. You have been content. And now this upheaval of a blessing of monetary substance coming to you, it changes the makeup of your life. And sometimes you may feel like you don't even want this extra money because seems like it's just gonna cause more problems. So what I would take away from that sort of experience is just to remember that whether you increase your wealth or whether you fall upon even harder times after splurging all that money away, the real issue is how you acquaint with your life, how you associate with your life, whether poor or rich. And so another facet of excess that may cause thought is The excess of attention, of attention causes stress, and not necessarily negative stress, but it's more stress because you have an implicit responsibility to appreciate the attention, to respond to the attention, to foster and care for and become caretaking of your relative popularity. And so many people become warped by this, because even though you receive attention, some of their attention may be so pointed and so judgmental and so precise in cutting you down that you want to leave, that you want to go away, that you want to become isolated again. But yet you know that if you become isolated again, you are more inclined to be miserable because you have not resolved to understand isolation yet. So an excess of attention must be treated with a spiritual or an internal responsibility or maturity to put that attention in its place and use it to fuel your growth instead of fueling your pockets or fueling your ego. It should fuel your growth as coming to terms or with defining what attention really means on this realm and how to use it in order to deepen instead of becoming more shallow. And another aspect of excess is that I could think of is an excess of clarity. When you are excessively clear about things, it brings upon a spiritual headache, because everything is so sharp and bright, and the meaning is there so close to your center. The excess of clarity is going to initially devalue your whole experience, because you feel like everything you look at you could break down and understand, and it becomes boring. It becomes discouraging, because this clarity that you possess is making everything blend in with each other, and people start to seem the same. Objects start to seem the same. Music starts to seem the same. Entertainment is boring. So this excess of clarity is definitely a blessing. It's a blessing of grace. But to handle this excessive amount of clarity is to remember childhood, when things were new, when things were special, when things were magical. And I'm not saying that you could ever get to the mind state of your childhood again through any normal internal means, but you must realize that your position to God and to the ultimate knower is a child. So once you feel like this abundance or excess of clarity is ruining things for you, just remember that you do not know even the depths of your own self. And so you ground yourself in that way. So I hope this helps. Thanks.